Hey guys, Crafty here from Living in Beta, and today we have a beginner's top tips video for you to help support those picking up Starfield on its full release on the 6th of September. That being said, this can be helpful for those premium upgrade players as well, with our aim being to shed some light on areas you may have missed to benefit your ongoing main character, or maybe give you a solid foundation for a new one. A couple may seem obvious, but hopefully there are little snippets that may come in useful for you all. You can never stop learning, right? As always, specific parts of the video will be timestamped in the description, and the video chapters will be accessible on the video timeline. Now, without further ado, let us set the foundations for your journey into space. First up, let us start with skills. Although very much a personal preference in nature, there are just some you must at least keep your eye on if you want to overcome all that Starfield has to offer. Boost packs in the tech tree will help with traversing the various planet terrains you'll come across and can give you a leg up in some combat scenarios. Persuasion in the social tree is a great pickup for those who want to sweet talk their way through the varying conversational encounters that arise when exploring the outer worlds. Security in the tech tree is paramount if you want to have a chance of unlocking those containers or doors that lead to riches otherwise out of reach. Stealth in the physical tree is a valuable skill to get early on, as it gives you the HUD element showcasing whether you are hidden or detected by enemies. The piloting skill in the tech tree dictates what type of ship you can pilot at higher ranks, which is a great one to box off early. Do not make the same mistake I made and save up all your dollar for one ship and find out you can't pilot it because your license is not good enough. And then do not forget to keep an eye on the challenges required for leveling up the skills as well. Whilst getting skill points is needed from every level you get, you do not want to be in a position where you ding a new level and you'll still need to complete a specific challenge relating to that particular skill before you continue progressing in that skill tree. If you're like me, I get trigger happy and have to spend that skill point. I don't want to wait for the challenges. Don't be like me. On planet exploration, there are a couple of things to keep in mind. Using your scanner a lot is very important to not only figure out wildlife on the planet and research all you need to know when choosing an optimal planet for an outpost, but also acts as a wayfinder of sorts, showcasing where to go when moving across a planet and highlighting new areas left to explore. It also allows you to fast travel quickly to areas already discovered. Pretty handy. When it turns to night and loot is on your mind, or you're in a cave and that eerie music starts to play, make sure to turn on your flashlight, holding down the same button as you use to bring up the scanner on your preferred platform. This will give you a small but slight improvement on your visibility in certain areas. PS, make sure your helmet is equipped, otherwise it won't work. You can't beam light from your eyes. Skills can be utilised heavily in exploration too, with jumping and boosting. Boost skill plus boost pack required, saving you O2/energy while travelling larger distances on the planets. This helps save time while exploring and running between missions, and to be honest, it's just cool, just cool to be able to do. And for those min-maxers out there, some planets have smaller non-hostile creatures that can help farm skills that need a certain amount of kills to the next perk level or skill level. Think sneak attack kill challenges in stealth, or just general weapon challenges for a number of kills with the weapon type. Yes, it can be tedious, but it may just be worth doing in the long run. With the ship system in game, there is a lot to unpack, and in the interest of being some beginner tips and being spoiler free, we'll keep this section pretty minimal. The most important thing to consider early on when building or editing ships is that the docker module of the ship has to be the highest point. For example, if you have the docker on the lowest level, no modules can be placed above it or the ship flight test will be void. And believe me, I've spent hours getting angry at this freaking docker system, but I finally found out the reason. And also, ship dimensions is a key thing to consider, with some reports stating that no bigger than 40 by 40 for ship size in width and length is allowed for it to be flight test viable. Let me know in the comments if you've made something wider or longer. I don't seem to be able to. Hashtag can't wait for the jokes here. Once you've tamed or build your ship, do not forget that it can be a great place to store things as well. Make use of your ship's cargo if you're struggling with being overcumbered. You can also still access the cargo as well to sell the items in most shops. Sometimes I feel safer with this than letting my followers/companions hold the items for me. Fastgo is not trustworthy. One thing I've also noticed when changing ships as well is that the cargo hold comes home to the new ship, but the captain's storage/locker inventory does not and stays on the other ship. I'm not sure if this is a bug, but it's worth keeping in mind to make sure you empty that captain locker or storage before changing ship yourself. Lastly, in the context of space exploration in your ship, Starfield doesn't actually mention this that I've seen, but you can shoot asteroids from your ship, which may seem obvious, but when they're destroyed, they leave behind a mineral deposit. If you target it and then get within 500 meters like you would when you're looting other ships, you'll be able to pick it up for a few resources, usually things like iron or water, which can be great for many things throughout the game. Moving on to the inventory, we all like to look good, and for a long time I was angry that my companions would change their outfits depending on their environment, and I was walking around in a massive spacesuit. After I took a deep breath, I noticed that in your inventory, under the spacesuits tab, you can tab to either show or hide your spacesuit when in a settlement, making it so you walk around in your street clothes instead. I mean, you can do the same to your helmet under the helmets tab as well. Now my Tinder dates aren't so bad. Storage will also become an annoyance early game, but do remember, medpacks, ammo and digipicks weigh nothing, so always pick them up. And try not to do a crafty, storing your digipicks in your ship during a mission that requires them. You're smarter than that, act like it. It may also sound silly, but make sure you use your favorites menu, saving things like your favorite weapons, a cutter for resource collection, and your healing remedies to a quick menu. Just makes things so much easier. Starfield seems to like having multiple menus to rummage through, and this helps alleviate that. Next tip, and it's so important you may have to hear it twice, be careful with contraband. I repeat, be careful with contraband. I won't go into too much detail here as I do not want to ruin the amazing feeling you get when finding it, but please be careful with contraband. It can only be sold at trade authority locations, and make sure you do not visit a planet that scans your hull. Otherwise, if you do not have a cargo that's blocked to scanners, you can at minimum have to pay a fine, or at maximum go to prison, lose the contraband, and also take quite a big XP hit. Oh no. 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 What?
Nobody in here right now.
I don't think I can accept it. One of the best places to sell this would be the Wolf system, located close to Alpha Centauri. Here you'll find a space station called the Den, and they will not scan you on approach. Boom! Take that to the bank. Literally, take it, hide it, and say nothing. Also, another important thing to note here when trying to make a quick buck, value that is showcased next to an item is not the same as the price a vendor will pay you. The sale price starts out at around 13% of the value. You can improve those numbers by putting points in the commerce skill. Generally speaking, things like weapons and gear, suits, helmets and packs are worth the most. I found this out the hard way though, planning a vacation on a distant moon with my contraband I was going to sell, and instead realizing I'd only get paid enough for a night out at the Chunks fast food restaurant. On the subject of unlocking doors that we mentioned earlier to gain fat loot or persuading residents of Starfield to do your bidding, make sure you utilize the auto slot and the auto persuade options often. You'll generate these bypasses pretty quickly as you play. In the case of the persuasion attempt, it results in an automatic success. Auto slot meanwhile places one ring on your digipick for you instead. You can see if you have any auto slots or auto persuades banked by looking in the bottom right hand corner of your screen. Another great tip that was brought to light by a member of the chat was to, where possible, sleep for 1 hour in any bed you see, not only to heal up to full, keeping those precious med packs unused, but also to gain an XP buff for 24 hours in game time, which can really help progress faster through the skill tree. Lastly, I would advise that as soon as you can, you should affiliate yourself with one of the factions Starfield has to offer. Choosing the United Colonies, the Freestar Collective, the Crimson Fleet, or the Origin Industries not only generally gives you a chance to participate in a much better storyline than most other side quests, but they also tend to reward more credits to most missions, and in some cases you might get unique dialogue options that open up unique narrative opportunities. There's also things like the Crimson Fleet giving you a cargo hold that can hide contraband, things like that. It looks like it's going to really benefit us throughout the game by committing to one of those factions. So there you have it, some of our favourite tips to help you get a head start in your playthrough of Starfield. If we're honest, the game is so massive and there's so much to do that there's a high chance we've missed some other great tips in our list. Please utilise the comment sections down below and let us know your favourite tips, and let's all help out the community together. But for now, I just want to thank you for watching, subscribe for more Starfield content, share with your friends and family, and remember, we are not alone.